recording. So you see, these causes of conflicts are automatically resolvable if you are doing a good job with your project. Like the team and the project manager, if you are doing their job, probably you won't have any conflicts at all. But sometimes we need to have a little bit of conflict. Can anyone tell me why should I inflict a conflict in my team? Is the conflict healthy sometimes? Any comments?
You're asking why is it important to
No,
inflict a little
I
bit of
understand
conflict?
conflict is bad, but uh, if there are no conflicts in the team and team is working very amicably, why should the leader sometimes inject a conflict into the team?
See, conflicts are important because I don't know if I don't want to call it conflict, but these are important because you always get a constructive feedback. You don't want
Exactly.
members of the team or the leaders to just get things done how you've been asked to do, right? It needs to
Right.
be an open, collaborative sessions. Everybody needs to be given an opportunity to express how things have gone, which
Right.
might, result in conflict, but that's always constructive.
Okay. Exactly like I asked this question to you. I knew the answer, and some of you may also have known it. But the problem was, I wanted to challenge you, right? This challenging is inflicting a conflict because you will come up, each one of you may come up with a different opinion, and then you will discuss it out. And in a couple of minutes, we would resolve it. So, because team is not interacting a lot, that is where we need to inject a little bit of conflict. That is healthy. That keeps them awake, right? But at the same time, having too many conflicts and all the time they are fighting with each other is very bad. But you see, as I just said, conflicts are healthy, and conflicts should be there in a psychologically safe environment. Everyone must have their opinion. They must voice their opinion. They must talk it out. They must gain consensus. And one thing we must prevent, and that is that we should not get these conflicts out of hand. They should not be escalated. Prevent them from escalation. Escalation means you team could not handle it by themselves and they are escalating it to the next higher level, which is really bad because that means you are in trouble. Okay, how to handle conflicts? Uh, Naturally, you can always refer back to the team charter and the ground rules you established in the beginning when the team was formed. That describes how to, the very brief description is provided. What is the policy on conflicts? What is the policy on attendance? What is the policy on decision making? No, general policy is there in the team charter, in the ground rules. So you can always refer back to that. But the details, the further details could be found in your management plans. In Agile team includes conflict management strategies in their way of working and are supported by a culture of trust. Like, we say that team is self-organizing. So by default, they are always working towards a consensus. They are completely independent. They don't need any instructions from anywhere. They are fully capable of resolving their conflicts all by themselves, right? So one more thing, a very important point here, focus on the issues and not on individuals. That happens when we don't have a good argument to defend our point of view and we start pointing fingers towards individuals. You understand my point or not? As somebody said, great people discuss ideas. Others just discuss people, right? So this is very important. Focus on the issue, resolve it, rather than fighting over the style of speaking, style of saying it, or things like that. That is not important. Okay, these are the various approaches. This is called a pyramid of of this conflict levels of conflict. When a problem arises, we are at the bottom stage. We have a problem to solve. Whenever we have a problem to solve, this needs discussion amongst the team members, and that is a fodder for conflict. Right? There is a conflict here. We have to agree. We have to gain consensus. We have to find the solution for that problem. And if we do that, if we find the solution, the matter is resolved within the team, all by themselves. Because this is a good team, they are acting like a team, they are gaining a consensus, and they have got ground rules, they are following that. So problem is resolved. No problem at all. If the problem is not resolved, that is because you have certain kind of disagreement. Maybe one odd person is not agreeing with others. He's not, uh, you know, voting for the consensus, and he's holding his or her own opinion, and he wants to fight it out. So there is a disagreement. So this is where we need to involve the team lead or the product owner to resolve this issue. Although we don't want anything to go to that level, but still, this is still internal to the organization. We can handle that. If we have some conflict of that kind, there is a disagreement, then probably we can seek help from the next higher level, and they can help us out. So they can make the one person understand who is holding a different opinion, and he can surrender. Matter is still again resolved. But this is not a better approach than solving it all by themselves. The team should solve their own problems all by themselves. Disagreement can be handled at the higher level, but there is a big problem when the whole team is divided into two groups and they are fighting over it. They are not fighting for the issue. They are fighting who wins the game, whose point of view is wins. That is a bad situation. So now, at that stage, maybe the matter has to be escalated to even the next higher level, and we have to give it a very serious thought. How can we convince the team to change their attitude and behavior? Because this behavior isn't going to work. That is a big problem. They are going to keep fighting if they behave like that. Maybe you have to provide them some kind of training or something. If you cross that limit, you get into the fourth stage of conflict, which is extremely dangerous. That is, both parties are not even agreeing on the arbitration, and they are ready to fight it out. So they want the two parties, the two opinions. One party wants to win, both party wants to win, and they want the other party to lose. Right? This is really a very difficult situation because there is no more focus on any kind of issue. They are not trying to resolve the issue. They are actually involved into a hand-to-hand fight. Very well. But the worst of all is called the world war. World war is an intractable situation where you can consider the fight/flight as a battle or a war. But when it is a world war, then it means complete destruction. There is you cannot get back to where you started. Things have gone completely out of the hand. So I would suggest that we should resolve it at the lowest level where the problem is imposed and team can solve it itself, or at most I can accommodate if a little bit of misunderstanding is there that can be resolved by the team lead or the product owner. Further escalations are not really going to be very convincing. And the fifth level, that is no way back, right? I hope you understand these levels. This is how they can be shown. Like the problem to solve is collaboration, seek win-win situation. Everyone wins because we all agree. In a disagreement, we we need support, empowering the other to resolve the problem. So we kind of discuss it out and kind of find a solution with some help. Contest, getting out of a contest is really difficult. But if we can be accommodative, we can negotiate, we can get facts straight, probably we can do that. Crusade is like a battle. We are fighting it out. So to do that, if somebody is kind of an arbitrator and needs to stop a battle going on, then probably there has to be a ceasefire first. You understand my point? So establish safe structures and use some diplomacy. And yes, you can resolve it, but this is not a very good solution, because they are still hard burning on both sides, and they are still having that animosity in them. And in world war situation, you should never get into. Do whatever is necessary to prevent people from hurting one another. That is complete destruction we are talking about. So these are the 5 levels of conflict. Moving on, interpersonal skills. Yes, of course, naturally, if we use our interpersonal skills, which we have learned a lot, all of these things we have talked about: emotional intelligence, influencing, which is a leadership quality. You influence your team members. Leadership itself steers others in a more positive direction. Decision making, active listening. We know all of this. Exercise all of these skills in the management of conflict. That is really very useful. Then, okay, what are the approaches? This is important. When you are trying to resolve the conflict, there could be a number of approaches used. Yes, please.
I have a question, Suhail,
Sure.
which I find it very tricky. I don't know if it comes through experience. The one that you covered before, the interpersonal skills to manage conflict. Well, emotional intelligence is something I find quite challenging. When you have somebody, it works either way, right? One is when someone is not given the right opportunity to excel, and then constantly being told that they are not good enough. And the other thing is when you deal with developers sometime, when they never want to be told that there is a bug. Whatever they develop is 100% right. So how do you kind of deal with that, like individually and as a person, that emotional intelligence? It's very tricky one.
Yes, it is tricky, but the thing is, you have to submit. This is not a conflict. Emotional intelligence is not a conflict. When you are listening to somebody, you should listen as if you are having the same feelings as that person at that point in time.
Right.
You should imagine yourself to be that person. Don't interrupt that person. Don't even be sympathetic to that person, but at least try to feel like that person. And that is a skill you have to groom into yourself.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't come naturally. It is not possible humanly, because we are all very selfish. Right? So we can't think about for example, I had a problem before coming to the meeting, and I am very disturbed, and naturally I am talking in a very odd manner in the meeting. You should try to understand what is behind what I am saying, what is making me speak like that, and you should accommodate me. You could soothe me out, right? Rather than being, getting me out of the room and, things like that. So try to understand the other person. That is the whole thing about emotional intelligence.
Okay. Thank you.
Most welcome. Okay, conflict management approaches. We have these 5 conflict management approaches, and I will discuss them very quickly, and I'll let you know which is good and which is bad. Smoothing and accommodating. It looks like a very good thing. 2 parties, both are trying to be very helpful to each other. But the problem is, they both are ready to accommodate the other party's point of view. They are having a lot of empathy, but at the same time, they have completely forgotten about the main issue. right? They are just there to kind of be kind enough to the other party. That is emphasizing, the emphasize only on the area of agreement, not on the area of issue, right? We don't want to fight. You and myself, we are having a conflict, but we are facing each other, but we are avoiding to talk about the main thing. And I'm saying you are very good in your interpersonal skills, and I'm saying you are saying you are teaching very well, and these things like that. But we are not discussing the main issue. We are both withdrawing from the main issue. This is a bad situation. This should not happen, because this will not get you to any solution. Although temporarily you will feel good, but the issue, the problem is not resolved. I hope you understand that point. Second is, uh, we are so annoyed with each other that we don't want to talk to each other. We withdraw or we avoid to meet each other. Again, we are not discussing any issue because we don't want to talk to the other party, and therefore it is called withdrawal or avoid. This is again as bad. Not as bad as smoothing and accommodating, but naturally it is no solution at all. Basically, we are postponing the issue. We are having too many grudges in air. Then the third approach, rather, let me get to the fourth approach first. Fourth approach is force and direct. One of the party is more powerful than the other party, and they can force their decision down the throat of the other party. So they will always be the winner, and the other party will always be the loser, no matter what the case is. Right? So this is a one-sided game. This is called force and direct. Pursue your viewpoint at the expense of others. Offer only win-lose solution. It's like a blackmail. So all of these three solutions which I have just enumerated to you, they are no good at all. Right? They're not no good. Well, the force direct can be good for one party, the powerful party. The withdraw avoid doesn't solve anything. Smoothing and accommodating also doesn't solve anything, except for that it gives you a temporary relief that we are not fighting. That's it. We have pended the issue in a way. Now let's come to the real solutions. Compromise and reconcile is a very doable way of resolving issues, resolving conflicts. We listen to both parties' viewpoint. We listen to them, and we try to interact with that. We enable cooperative attitude. We are listening, with compassion, with empathy. We are having an open dialogue, and the purpose we both parties understand that we have to gain a consensus and then commit to it. This is, I think, the way conflicts should be resolved. Compromise and reconcile. Even a better solution could be collaborate and problem solve. Although they look quite similar, if you read them, you will see it says incorporate several viewpoints and insights from varying perspectives. The only difference is it is not only the two parties giving their viewpoint, but we are considering viewpoints from other subject matter experts and consultants also. So we have enlarged our canvas, and we are taking opinions from other parties as well. Then it requires cooperative attitude and open dialogue. That is, we were doing that already in compromise, reconcile, and search for solutions that typically lead to consensus and commitment. Right? So
This is
we are already doing that. Yes.
This is not in the order of. It's
This
not
is
an
not in the
order.
order.
Right?
This is not in
This
the
is
order.
just all of the approaches.
Yeah. I would say the best approach could be collaborate, problem solve. Second
Of
best is
course.
compromise and reconcile. And all rest of the three approaches, I don't like them. I don't ever like them. Right? Why
think
should
it's
one party
hard.
have more power than the other? That is a
It's
blackmail
hard
situation.
when you have different personalities in your project team, and some are more
Yes, of course.
force and direct, and others are more avoid and withdraw,
Yeah, exactly. There's sometimes some people are very submissive, so they are like
Yeah.
smoothing and accommodating. There are some
No,
people are
I had
very
a
angry. They don't like to face the other party. Then the blackmail situation. One party is trying to
Mhm.
blackmail the other. That is also very normal. We have seen that.
Sometimes as well, they might try to compromise,
Yes,
but it's the tone that they use. They actually want to compromise, but the
yeah,
tone of their voice is just too direct and too strong, and people didn't
exactly.
see it that there actually was nice. They're trying to compromise, but it's just the tone is all wrong.
Okay, tell me. Okay, we agree that these are the five approaches, but tell me if they cannot get to the solution, what should they do? In contracts, there is a clause. In case of conflict, when team cannot resolve it all by themselves, then naturally there is an escalation path described, right?
In predictive,
In all kinds of projects, there is an escalation path described. That is
yeah, you should.
in
Yeah.
contract with a normally it is in the contracts when we are
I
Mhm.
talking
think
about the
they
negotiation.
can go to court.
Yes,
They can go to the court.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. So uh, it could be what do you call it? Arbitration. It could be you can go
yes,
to the court, and it could be there is another word I'm just forgetting about. That is mediation. Mediation.
yes,
Okay, going to the court is the last solution, because when you go to the court for technical issues, court will avoid giving any decision. They will always tell that okay, we are not capable of deciding on technical issues, so you get some technical people around, and we will get the opinion from them, right? Uh, in arbitration, we usually nominate a party who will be the final decision maker, like a court, right? But it could be both parties can come up with their own judges. Both parties can come up with with their separate judges, and those judges can sit together and listen to the case and make a consensus decision, which would be acceptable to both parties. And the third thing which I said was mediation. These things are not shown here in the slides. I'm speaking from my memory. Third thing is mediation. Mediation means that there is a third party, but they are not the judge. They are not giving any decision, but they are facilitating both the parties to convey their message, soften up their message, and convey it. This happens when parties are very aggressive. They are kind of using abusive language and things like that. So the third party softens their message and conveys the crux of that to the other party, and that way they help them resolve the issue. And out of the three methods, I would say mediation is the best method so far. And that only happens after the team was unsuccessful in adopting any of these approaches and could not get a solution out of it. Then you go for those things. So these are the five ways of conflict resolution. You see, the one marked in red is the best option. Central one, compromise and reconcile. This is good enough. But other three, as I said, I personally don't like them. If you want to use them, it is your sweet will. But that they don't give you any solution to the problem, right? That will always be something which is uh, not really addressing the solution. Okay, at the end of it, I just came across some material, some posters on LinkedIn, and I thought I could share them with you. They are very interesting. Uh, for example, these are 10 advanced strategies for conflict management, right? So you can read through them and you can see that these are exactly whatever we have studied. This is the crux of that, right? And it also talks about diffusing conflict, how not to talk it out. No criticism during your negotiations, your discussions. You should not be defensive. There should not be defensiveness, deflecting the blame and playing the victim, etc. Stonewalling, shutting down. That is we are avoiding that strategy. We are not trying to face the other party. We are stonewalling. We're not. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. That kind of a thing. And contempt is acting smarter, better, and superior to others. That is force and direct kind of a thing. One party always thinks they are the kings and the other party are servants. Like, they are more influential, that kind of thing. So they have contempt. So in a conflict resolution, you should not have contempt, you should not stonewall, you should not be defensive, and you should not criticize, right?
Suhail, stonewalling, it happens with my daughter, not in office.
Yeah, I know. That is normally the true, very, very true. Yes.
She's like, stop talking to me.
I agree with you. Okay, we are done with this chapter. So we can take a very little break, say 10 minutes, and then we can start the next chapter. And I will
Okay,
try to
sure.
run through it very quickly.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
be
take
back in
care.
10 minutes.
Take care.
Okay.
Right.
Happy to be back.
Yes, please.
Happy to be back.
Yeah. Right. Okay. This chapter is about monitoring and control. You see, in the previous chapter, we were talking more about the execution, right? And previous to previous lecture was more about the planning, and previous to that was about the initiation, right? In a flow we are moving on. But we call this chapter, which is about monitoring and control, formally we call it support project team performance. Means that a little bit of the soft skills, or we call the power skills, are also useful here, because you have to deal with the team and you have to evaluate their performance and all. But mainly it is the monitoring and control of the project, all the knowledge areas which are being during the execution, which are being implemented. Now is the time to measure the performance of each and everything, right? So, although we have studied the earned value and all, but we will refer those things here, because there we established that this is how we can measure the progress, and now we are actually going to measure that. So, we may be referring to some of the tools we have already studied. So, there are 5 parts in it. First of all, implement ongoing improvements. Then is support performance, that is about the people. Evaluate the project progress. This is about monitoring and control of each knowledge area. This portion is little lengthy, but when you understand the concept, you don't have to really waste a lot of time here. Then is the manage issues and impediments. Now, you do understand from your earlier knowledge what is an issue, how does it differ from our risk, and what are the impediments. In Agile, we have the role of team lead, who is actually going to be dealing with all issues, impediments, and all that. He will be a servant leader, he will facilitate you. And finally, how to manage changes. So, starting off, the first area is implement ongoing improvements. Well, this is all about continuous improvement. You have heard about it, we have talked about it. In any environment, not only in project management, in any environment, you need to be consistent and continuously improving. This is basically coming out of a Japanese term, which is Kaizen. Kai means change and Zen means good. And the whole thing is change is good. We have to understand and realize that change is good. Just give me a moment. So change is good. That is one realization we all must have. We normally, as human beings, we resist change, aren't we? We are so much good with whatever we are doing that we love our status quo, isn't it? We don't want to change our way of working. We want to keep repeating what we have been doing already, and we have a lot of confidence in what we have been doing. That's why we are in habit of sticking to the status quo. Basically, if we don't change, we don't learn any further, we are not going to improve ever. So this Japanese terminology, change is good, is basically guiding us towards continuous improvement. And this happens in any setting, for the organizational setting, for your project, for anything, right? So I'll not read through all these things, but I have just given you the crux of that. There is a little video on Kaizen which could be helpful in understanding the concept. So I will play that for you. Sound is a little low, but you have to listen to it very carefully. I can't really make it very loud.
The lean approach to learning is very pragmatic. Lean teams are constantly doing small experiments and analyzing the results. If there's a measurable improvement, the small change is adopted and the team jumps into its next small experiment. This enables lean teams to make continuous small refinements to their processes, refinements that add up to noticeable improvements over time. The idea is to improve through a series of small changes, a strategy the lean community calls Kaizen, Japanese for improvement. It's usually represented like this. And while the idea is strong, most organizations need a step-by-step approach that will yield results. And that looks like this. Here's how it works. First, an organization identifies potential improvement, such as a new practice or strategy that they want to experiment with to see how well it works in their situation. Then they try it out. They implement the change. After a brief period, they'll assess whether the change has been effective. They'll measure it against clear outcomes. If the new way of working is effective, they adopt it. If it isn't, they abandon it, for now at least. But they're not done. At that point, they share what they've learned with others, other members of their team, and other teams throughout their organization. Then start the process over. It is continuous improvement after all.
I hope you get the message. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I think I understand it, but it's not specific enough for me to know the
Mhm.
difference between lean and Kaizen.
Okay. Kaizen is
They're all talking
completely
about continuous improvement, but what's the difference?
continuous improvement. Actually, you are trying to compare Kanban and Kaizen, right? Isn't it? You are confusing Kanban with Kaizen. Kanban is lean. Kaizen is continuous improvement. Lean has a different philosophy. The philosophy of lean is to reduce waste from everything. Waste of time, waste of effort, waste of energy, waste of anything. If you are removing the waste, you are making yourself more effective and more productive, isn't it? That is Kanban. Kaizen says that you keep learning from your mistakes and keep improving continuously. Now, in our project environment, especially in agile environment, we use both of these philosophies. We apply the lean Kanban as well as Kaizen. Kaizen is something which is applied to the predictive projects as well, right? But it is more applicable in case of an agile project because we learn more in a agile project because after every iteration we run a retrospective and that retrospective is doing what? That is the cause of continuous improvement. We learn there what we have done wrong and right, and we learn lessons from there and we apply them immediately in the next iteration. If it was a predictive project, we don't have many opportunities to improve because either we are going to do a lessons learned exercise at the end of a phase or at the end of the project. But in an agile project, we have opportunity coming after every 2 weeks, after every iteration. So we can learn more and we can continuously improve. I hope that makes the things clear.
So there's a difference between lean and agile. Kanban is basically the hybrid kind of thing. Can we say
No.
that
Kanban is basically lean, but it
lean plus agile?
no.
Mhm.
Kanban is basically lean, but as the today's agile practices have embraced lean altogether, so nowadays you should call it a Kanban or a lean agile system, right?
Okay.
If it is purely Kanban, if you are applying in your project a pure Kanban method, then you won't have any iterations. Do you remember I did talk about it?
Yes. Yes.
That is pure lean, pure Kanban. But if you have in your iterations, you apply this philosophy of Kanban, then you are reducing the waste of effort. You are limiting the work in progress. So that means you are applying lean within agile. So in a way, you are comfortable in saying that we are using lean agile. But generally, in general terms, we say it is agile, right? I hope that is clear. What are the
Yes, sir.
various methods of continuous improvement? And actually, a retrospective is a cause of continuous improvement. Lessons learned in a predictive project is a cause of continuous improvement. Uh, you have heard about and we have talked about Six Sigma, didn't we? Six Sigma is also a method. It is a statistical method. It is a
Sir,
statistical method.
yes, the standard deviation
Yeah, exactly.
when we go to
But it is, but it is more than standard deviation. It is more than the bell curve. We are going to more deeper extents of that. We are not constraining ourselves to three sigma, which is three deviations on the right and three deviations on the left. We are extending it to the six deviations on the right and six deviations on the left. So your bell curve is kind of that is, we have got six deviations there. So that is called Six Sigma. But when you apply the lean principles on Six Sigma, it becomes Lean Six Sigma. If today you want to go for a Six Sigma certification, I would advise you to go for a Lean Six Sigma because it is the latest trend.
yes.
Six Sigma is almost yes, they're giving out certifications for Six Sigma also, but that is not fun anymore. Today's technology is about Lean Six Sigma. But anyways, we are not discussing Lean Six Sigma here because that is altogether a different subject that is more related to processes and operations and quality and that kind of thing. But you see, the same statistical tool we have used in project management, we use the bell curve, but we don't use Six Sigma, we use Three Sigma, right? But naturally, with Lean Six Sigma, or with Six Sigma, we could be even more accurate. Anyways, not going into any further detail of that, then are you aware about the Kaizen we have just explained? Lean, Tahir just asked a question about it. Crystal methods and capability maturity model integrated. You may not have heard about crystal methods, but capability maturity model integration. What is that? CMMI, have you ever heard about it? No? Neeraja?
Sir, you talk about it,
I did.
yes, but not uh,
If I
Okay,
say
just
I know the answer, I'm lying, Suhail.
okay. Okay,
Maybe Tahir has a better memory.
if you
I
remember,
don't think so.
I taught you about good practices and best practices. Remember that?
Yes,
A standard is a good practice, right?
yes.
It is a book of good practices, right? It is not the best practice. If anyone says standards gives you the best practices, that is a lie. Standard just tells you what is right and what is wrong. That's it. It doesn't give you best practices. So PMBOK is a project management standard. ISO is a quality management standard. So these standards give us the good practices. But what if we are following a standard and we are good enough as a company, we are following those rules, but we want to be the best. We want to compete with others. So you benchmark yourself against your competitors and try to adopt the best of the best practices. And as I said, best practices are not given in the standard. Where are they given? They are
Um,
in the maturity model, right?
mm,
For quality purposes, the maturity model is called capability maturity model. that was invented for software industry, but later it was so popular that all other industries wanted to use it, so they tweaked it a bit and start calling it quality maturity model integration. CMMI. CMMI is basically the maturity model for quality. That is actually the best practices for quality. And if you want to talk about the best practices for project management, PMI also came up with a maturity model a couple of years ago, and that was called Project Management Maturity. Sorry, not Project Management, Project Program and Portfolio Management Maturity Model. OPM, Organizational Project Management Maturity Model. Basically, when I say organizational project management, it covers projects, programs, and portfolios, right? So organizational project management maturity model. That standard, maturity model is still there, but it is not available from PMI website because that has been implemented. The project management auditors they have bought it, right? So PMI doesn't own it anymore. They created it, but the audits are being conducted by independent bodies, right? So they can conduct it. But anyways, you must know that there is a maturity model for project management as well. Also check the process improvement plan and the project management plan, because you see, these are the things which are telling you how are you going to improve things within your project. Can you tell me what is a process improvement plan and which area of knowledge area does it relate to?
Sir, the process management plan.
Not management plan. Process improvement plan.
Oh, okay. When we talk about process, it comes under the quality management.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other
Quality,
opinions?
you just
Nurul?
explained
No, I
in
understand what you're saying. Nurul,
Okay.
what do you understand by that? Process
I've
improvement plan.
I've heard about it. We
Heard
use it
about
at work.
Mm-hmm.
Process improvement plan.
I
Right.
think there was a
PIP.
slide.
Yeah. Actually, refer back to the discussion on quality management. Do you remember we have
Oh my
two?
gosh. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
We have
two.
quality
quality
assurance.
back.
We have quality assurance and we have quality control. Quality
Of course we
assurance
do.
is about the processes, and the person
Exactly.
responsible for quality assurance is following the process improvement plan. That is continuous improvement going on. We keep learning what can be improved, and we keep improving our processes. So that is where continuous improvement does apply. Nirja, you with me? Got this
Yes,
point?
I'm with you. I was looking at all my notes. Yeah, I'm with
Okay.
you.
Because there is a lot of gap, you might have forgotten a lot many things.
I have too many notes, Suhail, though. I'm not ready for the exam yet.
Right.
Tahir, you got to tell me, if you already took it, you got to tell me, were you nervous? How did you feel? I'm not ready yet.
No. Why are you
Mm,
so not confident? You should be confident. Actually,
I mean,
but
I
Suhail,
would.
I
we
think
forgot about explicit and tacit
yeah,
yesterday.
that
Remember?
is normal.
We
That is
forgot
normal.
about that. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time we forgot about quality control and
Yes,
quality
yes,
assurance
exactly.
and process improvement plan.
But as
Basically, we
soon as
forgot a lot.
don't worry.
as soon
Don't
as
worry.
I
It's
gave you a
normal.
cue,
Yeah.
you found out. You really realize that we have talked about it. So when you
I
will
think
revise, you will look at all those pointers, all those notes you have made, and therefore there will be no gap. Don't be confused about it, because that is going to be very harmful for your exam preparations. I don't want you to be confused. Be confident, refer back to your
See,
notes, and
I think I will get the confidence once I start looking at the notes, once I start practicing.
yeah,
I have to look at the formula. There are so many formulas in there. I'm not very good with math. So,
Okay.
there's just so many
Formula.
concepts,
What formula?
so much a formula that Suhail
That
explained.
is about
Yeah.
earned
So,
value and all. Yeah.
I need to practice, go through the notes, then maybe my confidence level will increase. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, as far as agile projects are concerned, you do know and understand that we conduct retrospectives, and you could use a very simple form
Sorry,
like the
Suhail.
one shown
All
on the
right.
left-hand side.
Sorry, Suhail, just before we move on. So going back to the quality, that quality assurance is where continuous improvement occurs, right? The
Yes,
process.
yes.
Okay.
Because that is where all the processes are being looked at.
Yes.
In quality control, we look at the deliverable. In
Clear.
quality assurance, we look at all the processes of the project and
Yeah.
are they optimum or not, and we keep an eye on that, and naturally we keep improving them over the time, and how to
Clear.
improve them is given in the process improvement plan. The
Yeah,
guideline
clear.
is a process improvement plan, which is part of quality management plan.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. When you conduct retrospective, that is very simple. You just take a piece of paper, divide it into two parts. On the left-hand side, you write what went well. On the right-hand side, write what needs to improve. Needs what was good and what was bad, right? So team sits down, and whatever comments they may make, they are written in the appropriate column, and that is our guideline. Now, because we have written them down, we will be very careful in our next iteration not to do those mistakes or improve on the processes which we were already doing. Right? So this is automatically a continuous improvement mechanism. The conducting the retrospective is a mechanism for continuous improvement in Agile. Because Agile is not very complicated, things are very simple. We don't need to create a process improvement plan or things like that. So we rather do it in a much simpler manner. So this is how it looks like. You can read these pointers. These are just explaining how this chart is made. Prepare topics for inspiration. Yes, please.
The picture there, I think the old lady should go on the left.
Yeah, you are right.
The young one needs improvement. The old one is going well.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why it's like that. Anyway.
Actually, there is another thing to it, and that is as you move ahead, you get mature. As you
Correct,
continuously improve, you get mature.
Yeah, and then you have more experience.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, moving on. Improve your improvement method. Well, how do you do that? As you understand, we talked about lesson learned register. We talked about the retrospective. They're definitely causing that. But there are some experiments. Sometimes we are stuck in certain situations where the more than one options are there. How do we decide which is the better method? That is called. We used this term in another. What did we call that testing? This is also called A/B testing, but there was another term we used. Tahir, do you remember that?
So I'm trying to remember.
Design by experiments.
By experiment, yes.
Design of experiments. So
Yeah.
this is basically we experiment while we design. I have got two options. It could be done in this way or it could be done in that way. It is also called A/B testing. I do it in both the manners and produce the results in front of audience and get a vote on that, which is the better method. Now, not a very complicated mechanism. It is very simple. The only thing is I have to do it in both ways as an experiment and show the result to my audience, and they will judge which is the better method. And I will adopt that. That is, basically identifying the improvement, which method is better. Experiments provide a way to improve team efficiency and effectiveness. It apply controls, do them one at a time to isolate the result. We do first the first experiment, then the second experiment, and then we compare the results. Then you all know about the Pareto chart and 80-20 rule. Do you remember
Yes.
That we do. How can we forget?
that?
Yes.
Now, this 80-20 thing is so interesting that it makes your decision making easier and it makes things more possible for you. Just a moment. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So when you guys are appearing for exam,
See, Suhail, I don't know. I think sorry, I'm saying Suhail. Tahir, I think what
yeah,
Suhail said was every year you get three times. You can try 3 times, right? So it's always good to
okay,
start in the beginning of the year. So if I made my first attempt, let's say in June, and then I
yes,
don't pass, then it'll be July, August, September. So if I don't pass again, October, November. So by November or December, I should have done my third attempt. So it's just for the year. So I think for
perfect.
me, I have to, the next step would be prepare and maybe write my first exam in June.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it's kind of overwhelming, but I got to give it a go. But again, I think there is a lot of three things that we need to do, Tahir. Like I've been delivering a lot of projects, right? Over a 3 years time, I need to write about what I
Hmm.
delivered, get it approved from a manager, and all those things. Anyways, I
Hmm.
haven't done that yet, but maybe June. What about you?
It's June, mid-June. I'm planning on mid-June.
Okay.
Have you already done your
No,
preparation, essays, and all of that?
yeah, I prepared my notes uh, just to revise things up.
No, as in like the application, the
Yeah,
project.
yes, my
You've done
application
all
is
of that.
approved. Yes, I've
Is
done that.
approved. And what about
I
you,
It's
see.
Narja? You
No, I haven't done mine yet. I think I need to start
you should do it
sometime this week.
immediately. Immediately.
Okay. Okay.
Because that
Okay.
also takes some time.
yes, yes, it will
Okay.
take I think 5 to 10 days.
5 to 10 days,
I see.
maybe some if you have an audit,
Yeah,
then it takes more time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes.
you should do it immediately as if you
Okay.
can appear in June. But
Okay.
I must tell you, if you're not really confident, you can delay it a bit,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Because you should be really feeling confident about it, that all that I have studied, I know where it is, right? I'm not saying that you remember everything, but at least you know where it is. Then you should book. You should go for the exam, and June is all right. But if you want to delay it, make it in July.
Yeah, and
It's
the link that Dr. Faiz has provided. I think I
Uh-huh.
need to kind of sit 3 hours and take up some test exams.
Yeah,
There are
of
a lot
course,
of
of course.
I got to give it a try because I'm not sure if I can sit for 3.5 hours. So I need to give it a try on how well I do it at home. And if my brain is able to just complete it in one sitting. So all those things I got to do all that before I appear for the actual exam.
Actually,
mm,
I have briefed you earlier how to do those exams. There are chapter exams, and there are mini exams, and there are full length exams, right?
yes.
The chapter exams you should be doing while you are preparing.
Okay. Okay.
The
Okay.
mini exams can be attempted at random anytime,
Okay.
and uh, the full length exams you should attempt only in the very last couple of days before the exam, right?
Okay. Okay.
But whenever
Okay.
you attempt an exam, uh, check what are the mistakes you are committing, right? Note them down, correct those mistakes, and learn those things by heart, that these mistakes I'm not ever going to commit again.
Okay.
What
No, I
I
think
find is people attempt the exam and they say, okay, I got 70% marks. Forget about the mistakes. Do not forget about the mistakes.
Exactly.
Look at all the mistakes and promise yourself that you are not going to commit these mistakes ever again.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
But I think the first step is to finish the application form, isn't it? So maybe I'll get into
Yeah.
it.
I think the
Exactly.
first
Yes.
thing is
And
finishing this course.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying to make it
but
this Saturday.
by
No,
the
no,
way,
I
there
agree.
are few apps you can go through them. There are questions in the apps,
She has got the access to
applications.
them. She has got the
Uh,
access, and there are lot
yeah.
many questions there on the application. She can try them
Yes.
out, and I think there are more than 1,000 questions there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you say a mobile app?
Yes. That's mobile app.
There are mobile
Exactly.
apps as well,
I see. I need to
Yeah.
check that.
but
Okay.
you have to
Thanks,
pay
Nurul.
for them. You have to pay for them.
Yes.
I'm not paying for them.
But
I
they are
already
not
paid
good.
a
They are
lot for
not
them.
good. Those mobile app questions are not good at all. Trust me.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
The
I
questions you
think
got from PM training, they are very good.
Okay.
They're
They're
not
very
good, Lahir.
they are very well structured.
exactly.
No, I'm talking about the links sir gave us.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the PM training school.
Yes,
Yeah.
PMI training school.
Yeah. Okay. So as we learn through our project, we keep updating our processes and standards, meaning we are trying to learn from our mistakes, right? And continuously improve. So that is how we improve continuously. We learn from our lessons. Then comes lead with an improvement mindset. Now, you have to be really into it to understand what is the improvement mindset. We'll use many terminologies: improvement mindset, growth mindset, agile mindset, fail fast mindset. So don't be confused by that. But the only thing you need to understand is you should get out of your standard mindset. And like for continuous improvement, you should be ready to accept that change. That is the improvement mindset. And to do that, you have to naturally get out of your shell, you have to educate yourself, and you have to encourage a fail fast mindset. What is fail fast? What do you think fail fast?
If you fail fast, you can improve.
I think
If you
as
You
have,
can
a
change
if
your,
you can fail, you must fail.
then fail fast. Yes.
And must fail as soon as possible, as if you have opportunity to try again.
A new thing.
If
Yes.
you pend your failure, if you pend your failure to the end, then you won't be left with any time to try it again, and you will be a complete failure. Your project will be a complete failure. So, fail fast mindset is uh, attempt the thing to the best of your knowledge, and even if you fail, don't be afraid of failure. Try again until you win. Do not pend the failure. If you have to face it now. That is called fail fast mindset. So encourage that mindset, identify material improvements, trainings, processes, and equipment, measure the effect of any changes. No, whenever there is a change request or a change is implemented, you see how is it going to impact you and your project. And then repeat the whole thing again. That way you are continuously improving. As a person, you will be continuously improving. Your project will be continuously improving. Your organization will be continuously improving. So this is a beautiful mindset, improvement mindset. Now we have got some questions. What is the aim of a retrospective?
Hmm.
D.
D, to identify what went well and what can be improved. Any differing opinions?
No?
Okay,
Hmm.
D
D.
it is. Good.
At least we
Yes.
got one question right.
Always right. Which two of the following are objectives for running a retrospective? Only two options are correct.
I think one is B, generate insight.
And
So your
D.
answer is B and D. Okay,
Yeah.
what about
No,
you, Nurul?
A and B and D, sorry.
I'll
Okay.
go for B and C.
D and C. Now, what do
Agree
you
to
think,
1 to
Nurul?
2.
You want to follow the
Experimental.
suit?
Tricky.
Isn't that tricky?
No. I'm B and D.
B and D.
Okay.
Okay. What about you, Niraja?
B and C.
B and C. Okay. So we have got all three different answers. B and C, C and D, and B and D. So let's see what's in the Pandora's box. B and C.
B and C. Yes.
Generate
Yeah.
insights and agree to one or two experiments. Getting feedback on the product. Who told you that getting feedback on product is a retrospective? In retrospective, we talk about the processes, what went well and what went wrong. We don't talk about the product because we talk about the product with the customer when we are demonstrating and reviewing with them, right? So
You're right.
product is
Yeah.
not a feedback for us right now.
Yes.
So B and C are the
Fail.
correct answers. Okay, moving on to the next part, that is supporting the performance. That is second topic. Project team leadership objectives. Naturally, as a team, you are moving forward, whether it is an agile project or a predictive project. You must understand one thing, and that is, as a project manager, your job is 90% communicate, and communicate. Rather, communicate and re-communicate. If you have told something, for example, you have clarified the vision to the team in the beginning, you have to keep communicating that after some intervals as if that message is fresh in their mind. It is not for the sake of repetition, but for refreshing their mind as if they do not get astray from the main objective. I don't want to interfere in their thought process or in their decisions, but I just want to be sure that they are still following the right path. They are moving towards the objective which this project is actually pointing to. Okay, another thing is ensure fluid knowledge sharing. Well, I did mention this term before, that there it was fluid communication. When we were talking about communication, I said fluid communication. What is fluid knowledge sharing?
Continuous?
It is continuous, like water is
Mm,
flowing continuously and smoothly with a very peaceful noise. You don't notice it, it is soothing. So, you
yes.
should keep sharing knowledge consistently throughout the life of the project. Knowledge sharing should be consistent. Project manager should keep sharing whatever is knowledge consistently with the team. It is a continued healthy dynamic on the team. Welcome new team members, realign them, and focus the team on delivering value. These are the responsibilities of the project manager. This is all about communication and recommunication and recommunication. So he must keep them on the edge of the edge of the chair all the time. Not in a bad way. I want to say that not for the interference purposes, but basically for reminding them what they are really meant for. I think this diagram we have seen many times. Should we skip it? We talked about it when we were discussing what methodology should we use, and we talked about it many other places as well. Basically, this is a graph between authority and problem. If the problem is easy to understand and it is within your authority, project team can do it all by themselves without any trouble. That is a simple project, and simple projects are dealt normally in a predictive manner, right? If the things start becoming complicated or complex, that means the problem is more more confusing, and higher authority is required to approve it, right? So as we get into that range, the tolerance increases. That means we are not able to do it like a simple project, and we may have to resort to hybrid or agile approaches. But there is a limit to it. When a problem gets out of the hand, out of the control, and there is no authority where I can escalate it, that is a chaotic situation, and such projects should not be done because they are harmful for the organization. That is just the message. This is the tolerance and this line, this parabola line, is the threshold beyond which a project should not be done. Okay. Project manager's role in a predictive or a centralized model. Well, there are not many points here from the case study, Shoppe Lifestyle Center. Hank Fan is your project manager, and he has a centralized role on a hybrid project. Remember that case study. It is a hybrid project. So he ensures alignment of due dates from the top-down model, project deliverable, life cycle, and benefit realization plan. All the management plan and everything is prepared in case of a hybrid project, but they are not as detailed as a predictive project. Lower down, we work on with agile teams. So on top, we are predictive. On bottom, we are agile. This is the model is following. So we do have a project management plan. It ensures creation and use of appropriate knowledge to and from the knowledge. So the knowledge transfer, tacit or explicit, both are happening here. Manages project performance and changes to project activities, that is a change request procedure, and makes integrated decisions about key changes that impact the project. So these things are happening just like the predictive. But then measures and monitors the progress, takes appropriate action, collects, analyzes, and communicates project information to relevant stakeholders, one of the duties of the project manager, ensures completion of all project work and formally closes each phase, contract, and the project as a whole, manages phase transitions when necessary. So what I understand here is that this slide is more inclined towards the predictive part of that project, because the phase one of the Shoppe Lifestyle Center is a completely predictive phase. Next phase is a hybrid phase, is a more of an agile phase. Anyways, this in a way refreshes our knowledge about the predictive project management. I want you to fill in the roles. The roles are project manager, project team, scrum master or team lead, and the product owner, right? So I'll read it and you will tell me what to fill in the blank. In this hybrid project, the dash oversees the project management plan integration. Who is that person? You have got four options: project manager, project team, scrum master, or the product owner.
Mm,
Who oversees
See, the
Project manager.
cross-functional, I'm just going to answer. The cross-functional would be the project manager. The process role of Dash helps the team to understand agile mindset. The process role of Scrum Master, hybrid project, the Dash oversees the project product owner. I could be wrong.
I agree.
Okay.
Product owner.
So we have got project manager here, and
Yes.
product planning delivery to the delegates control of detailed product planning and delivery to the
Team.
team, to the product owner.
No, wrong.
Product owner. Well, because work is happening at the agile level, product owner is in charge of the agile work, right? So that vision is given to them. But as far as the performance of the work is concerned, that is the team.
Hold on. This is very strange. In this hybrid project,
You see,
the project manager
remember that
oversees.
When
the
it's hybrid, I
product
think
owner
top
was
management.
responsible
Yes.
for high-level planning, roadmap, release planning, determination of the size of iteration, developing the product backlog. All of these things are happening here. Detailed product planning and delivery to the product owner. Right? But naturally, he will do the high level planning there. And the lower level planning definitely will be done in iteration. That we'll talk about it, that it is the job of the team. Okay, the dash focuses on building a cross-functional team, a collaborative decision-making environment, and ensuring the team can respond to changes. Who does that?
Project manager. Yes.
Project manager, yes, because this is a hybrid project and project manager is in charge. Process role of dash helps the team to understand the agile mindset and use Scrum processes. Who is it?
Scrum Master.
Good. And to develop the Shopify Lifestyle Center product, the dash is the local domain expert that plans how to do the work. Who is it?
While considering the space, it's just team. I think that fits in.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it's the logical one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the dash looks after value creation. Who looks after value creation?
The product owner, I think.
Yeah.
The product
The
owner.
value. Yes.
Good enough. Okay. Then is the communication. We have to optimize the communication. Like in Agile, we have the retrospective. Use these retrospectives purposefully. Discuss how to improve ways of working. Naturally, we have discussed that in retrospectives we learn, we continuously improve. So naturally, this is a good way of communicating amongst the team members. Communicate in both group and face-to-face setting, especially important for remote or virtual teams. If your team is not located at the same place, then probably you have to conduct a video conference for that, right? But you have to somehow involve everyone in the retrospective, every one of the team members. Make communication positive and regular with internal and external team members and stakeholders. Involve everyone. And use technology and tools, get feedback about them, and tailor for optimization, right? So basically, we are targeting the optimization, continuous improvement, but these are the means which we adopt with the communication. Better communication results in optimized mechanism. Use the feedback to support high performance. Well, you understand feedback is crucial for any team using any method. Well, we have discussed about the feedback. Did we or did we not? No, we will discuss it later. Feedback is very important because that is a consolation to the person doing the work that whatever he is doing is being acknowledged, right? Feedback, good or bad, that is an acknowledgement of your work. Somebody is either appreciating or maybe pointing something out in their feedback. Communicate in detail about technical and soft performance aspects. Use appropriate methods like public or private, individual or group, written or verbal, howsoever you want to communicate. Naturally, we discussed the communication management while we were doing the first chapter. We talked about the stakeholder and communication. We deliberated on that in quite a bit of detail. Feedback should be given in a timely manner. This is also something we have discussed earlier, that feedback should not be delayed, right? Feedback should be in a timely manner. Like, if you don't give me a feedback now and you call me 2 months later and you say, sir, in that lecture, you were saying this thing and this was not right. What does that mean? You should, you should do it now or it won't really have its impact. Request feedback regularly. So as I keep asking questions, I am actually asking your feedback. Well, how well are you receiving it? How well things are being absorbed by you? So in a class setting, this is what I can do. I can ask questions, right? So that is a mechanism of getting your feedback. Sport team task accountability. In an agile setup, we have got a Kanban board, or what you call is a task board, in which the whole flow of the project is apparently clear. What was to be done, what is being done, what has been done, and all that is apparently very clear on this very simple diagram. But if it was a predictive project, we had to resort to a very complicated Gantt chart. I would say Gantt charts are complicated as compared to this task board. Task board is much simpler mechanism. Agile is good for that purpose. So encourage your team members to self-organize in determining what work needs to be done, how to perform it, and who should do what. So because in Agile, all the planning and decision making is with the team members. They are self-organizing. Therefore, nobody is ordering them around. There is no project manager for that purpose who is assigning work to them. They are assigning work to themselves. And we are using a Kanban board to promote visibility and collaboration. Agile teams commit to performing work listed on a backlog during an iteration. And what backlog I am referring to? I am talking about the iteration
sprint
backlog.
iteration.
They have
Sprint
picked up the
backlog or
things from the
iteration?
product backlog. They are now in the iteration backlog and they are committed to do it. Right?
Can you use this task board in a predictive?
No, we can't use it. In predictive project, we have got a Gantt chart. We have got a schedule.
I know, but I just wondered if somehow you can blend the two.
This can't be used because there we have to link everything. We have to have a network diagram. We have to have dependencies and all that. Here we are free of all that. Like we said earlier in the planning, that even if there is a sequence required, that is a temporary sequence. That is a kind of a partial sequence. It is not a closed loop sequence like a critical path. So this is very different. Agile is more simpler, more easier, and more effective. Show roles and responsibilities. I'll just refer you back to the RAM and RASI, right? So in a RAM and RASI chart, which we have already studied in quite a bit of detail, we understand how the responsibilities of who is responsible, who is accountable, who is consulted, who is informed, these things are divided among the team members. Tacit and explicit knowledge. What Nurul was saying, it is very clear to you now.
This is back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are very clear about it. Everyone is.
Oh, yeah.
Neeraja?
See, tacit cannot be explained. The other one, you can explain it. That's what I can say.
Very good, very good. So just refer back to the things you have studied, and I am sure you won't have any difficulty. Please do not ever be confused about it. You know it actually. You have heard it. You have made notes on it. So once you go through your notes, you won't have any trouble at all.
I don't know it at the back of my hand. I have to look at my notes.
Yes, of course. That is for the preparation purposes, right? But once your preparation is done, you will be very confident, I am sure. You can go and sit in the exam very comfortably. Incorporate knowledge transfer opportunities. No, like, I'm coaching you, or I'm, we are talking in an informal setting. We are kind of doing some networking, formal or informal gathering, but we should always keep transferring the knowledge, or in another way, I should say, we should keep learning all the time. Whether it is a tacit knowledge or explicit knowledge, do not, leave out any opportunity to gain more knowledge. Knowledge management has 3 levels. You could gain knowledge at the individual level, like I just said. You should not leave out any opportunity to learn new things. You have knowledge management at the second level, at the team level, the project, right? What required to achieve the project goals, you may have to attain certain new skills. So gain that knowledge, that kind of knowledge, which is a team knowledge, which is specific to your work or your project. And then there is a concept of organizational learning. When the people in the organization learn and the the departments and projects learn, the organization is actually getting all the lessons learned from everywhere. So the organization learns. So this is called a learning organization where learning is automated. Whatever the people have learned has contributed to the knowledge of the organization. So ultimately, organization learns. What is required to manage programs and portfolios, a higher level detail, how the projects could be handled or the programs could be handled. This is the learning at the highest level, organizational level. Learn the right way to motivate your team. Well, these are some good pointers. You can go through it. These are do's and don'ts when you are motivating your people. It says, inspire and motivate yourself and the team. Very important. You cannot inspire anyone until you are yourself motivated. If you are very sad, how is it possible that you can inspire anyone? If you are down, how can you lift someone up, lift the spirit of someone? If you are yourself very sad and angry or something like that. So first of all, you have to inspire and motivate yourself before you can do it to your team. Give virtual teams constant and regular contact because they are not physically present and they need more attention. They need more effort to motivate. A person standing in front of you, you could, gauge his level of motivation, and in a less time, you could convince that person to work as you wish. Try self-assessment and reflective moments for professional growth. These are all the things you have to do to motivate the people. But these three things you are not supposed to do. Overwhelmed with meetings and work interruptions. Don't ever do that. Don't emphasize on a lot of meetings and I'm working on a project, and as I start working on something, you call me on a meeting or you interrupt me by giving me some unrelated work. That will actually affect my progress. Shouldn't do that. Distract with non-project work, meaning the new work you have given me is not even related to the project. That means my time is going to be wasted. Project time is going to be wasted. And group activities are important, but they should be voluntarily done. They should not be forced down the throat. This is the time for group activity, stand up everybody. No, that is not the way. You have to kind of motivate them to do these group activities on their own will and wish. So we can't force them to do group activities. These are various ways of motivation. We have already talked about the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So continuously keep realigning your team effort for value delivery. And what is that? What does that mean? When you make the team, when you create the team, when you form the team, whole of the team goes through these stages until they are performing. Performing is a stage where you actually get the work done. Now, while the project is going on, a new team member has been added. So as soon as a new team member has been added, he has to go through the forming, storming, and norming. That means some of his time and the team's time would be wasted in this process. And that is necessary. That is to be done. This person has to be properly enrolled into the team when this person is properly able to perform. So we must support his forming, storming, and norming, and rather we should also try to understand that person during this process, as if he can be effective part of the team. So there is nothing very special about anything. We have talked about the Tuckman ladder and these things. So you can go through this slide on your own. Artifact management. What is this artifact management? Where the record of all the documents are kept. In predictive project, what do we call it? Project documents. in planning, we created two boxes. One box was the project management plan, the other box was the project documents. All these project documents are project artifacts. And project management plan is also an artifact, but that contains its own ingredients. It has got all the management plans, it has got all the baselines, and this is what is the artifact maintenance. You have to keep these files stored in a proper organized manner, properly versioned. And where do we plan this? How do we plan to version the documents or artifacts and organize them in a storage?
Is it in the
Uh,
maintenance?
In a
Configuration management system.
configuration management. Configuration
Yes.
management plan is the one where we do that. Ensure
Version
compliance with,
control, yes, part of it.
exactly. Ensure compliance with data protection and security mandates. That is the compliance with the organizational policies, right? Like, there is a NDA. This topic must not be discussed with anyone outside of the team. You have filed a non-disclosure agreement. So if there is any such security measures, you must respect them. Maintain artifacts in preparation for archiving during project closure. When the project is being closed, all the documentation and all the artifacts which had been created during the life of the project must be archived into some organizational storage. It could be a physical storage, or it could even be, in today's modern world, it could be a cloud storage, right? Question: while you are working on a SWOT analysis for a risk response, a team member asks you to show them how it is done. What type of coaching is this?
Informal? I don't know. I'm making it up.
Okay. Tahir?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm going to say time boxed.
It's
Time box. Okay. Yes,
time
Tahir?
boxed. Time boxed.
Time box. So you people are incorrect. Informal.
Yeah.
You see, read the question. While you are working on a SWOT analysis for a risk response, a team member asks you to show them how it is done. A team member privately asks you, right?
Hmm.
So it is not to be explained to everyone. This person needs guidance. So this is an informal request for that person.
Yes.
How do you relate with time box? There is no time boxing in it. It is not even an agile project, right? Time box is not right.
So obviously formal is like a formal coaching, formal training. Can
Yeah.
you just remind me what is time box again? I think I know, but I
Time
forgot a
box.
little bit.
Time
The
box when you fix a time for an iteration.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
That was time box. Cadence, we also call it cadence.
Yes. The length of iteration.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with scheduling. It has nothing to do with time boxing. You could have debated between formal and informal. It is not a formal request. It is an informal request.
Okay.
A team member asked you if they could lead an estimating meeting. Which skill will you be coaching the team member? Yes.
B. Which skill? B.
Okay. Tahir?
Hmm. B.
Okay. Niraja?
I'll go for
Team member asked you if they could lead an estimating meeting. Oh, okay, lead. Which skill will be coaching you? Will you be coaching the team member? Leadership. Oh, servant. Servant or leadership. A team member asks you if they could lead an leadership.
Lead. Oh, that's a good maybe. Could be leadership. Could be leadership, or it could be how to facilitate a meeting.
Okay.
I think it's B.
It's B. The question says, lead an estimating meeting. It is about the meeting he's talking about. He needs guidance about the meeting,
Mm.
So
right?
facilitating
So why
also.
are you teaching him how to lead, how to be a servant leader, how to be emotional? Don't need to teach them all those things. But he's asking you help them out on that. So tell them how to facilitate a meeting, no matter whether it's an estimating meeting or it is a whatever kind of meeting. But he just needs guidance on how to conduct a meeting.
Yeah.
So the correct answer is facilitating a meeting. A product owner is unsure about how to participate in an iteration review session. What should the project manager do? Be very careful. Handle with care. One answer is correct.
D.
Which one? D?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Okay. Anyone else?
It could be C or D, really, but I'm going to vote for D.
Okay. Actually, remember, product owner
I
is
think
not your subordinate. Product owner is your boss.
uh, uh,
You, yes,
it's
I don't know.
D,
I'm
I
going to say
think.
D. I'm going to say D.
D, right? Even C is not good enough because in C you are saying go see in the on the website. I'm not going to tell you. That is quite stupid, right?
I think uh, D is appropriate.
D is the most appropriate answer because remember, in an agile project, the team lead is also called an agile coach.
Yes.
He is there to coach not only the team, but the at the peer level or at the senior level, even the top level management. He can also give seminars or coaching sessions to the top levels of the
But
organization.
really, Suhail, don't you think if you are running, there is
Mhm.
a product owner, typically
Yes.
it's an agile project. You
Mhm.
would have your scrum masters and all of that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So wouldn't they teach how to do the
Actually,
iteration?
product owner has got a different kind of responsibility. He is kind of doing the what do you call
Collecting
it,
the feedback.
high
Mm.
Yes.
level planning
Roadmap.
at the roadmap and the product owner thing. Actually, when you go for a certification of agile, there is a
Mhm.
separate certification for product owner, there is a
Mhm.
separate certification for scrum master, and there is a separate certification for a team member, right?
Mhm.
So the skills the Scrum Master knows covers them all.
Mhm.
Although Scrum Master is not, because Scrum Master has to act like a coach. He can guide the team, he can guide the product owner, he can even guide
Correct.
higher levels of the organization.
Correct. So I thought, yeah, I
So
just thought
the
that yeah.
okay, a company was hiring for certain positions. For one position, they were asking for people with skills such as look at these skills and see what kind of skills are they: leadership, team
Mhm.
building, motivation, conflict management, influencing, negotiating, and several others. This position would require individual to lead efforts to satisfy specific objectives and complete them in a timely manner within budget. What job position are they trying to fill and what type of skills were they looking for?
B.
They are
Mm,
looking for a project manager with management skills. Do you all agree?
mm, yes. Um,
Are these
Yes.
all the management skills?
Mm, Not all.
Actually, in a broader
A.
sense, yes, you are right. But classically speaking, all of these
All
are
are.
interpersonal skills. These are the power skills, right?
Yes.
So the correct answer would be project
Uh,
manager and
uh,
interpersonal skills.
Interpersonal skills.
But I know that is very close. But management means that you are talking about journal management kind of a thing, right? It is not even the project management. If they have said leadership, I might be confused. Yes, please.
I genuinely thought that, okay, I see what you mean. Conflict management, influencing, negotiate, that they are more interpersonal skills.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, fine.
How can this geographically dispersed virtual team be engaged and motivated to innovate? To innovate means creative thinking. Be productive and stay within schedule. In which two ways can they do this? First of all, what kind of a project is it?
Agile.
Okay. Now answer the question. Two options are correct.
Hold daily stand-ups.
See, I would say allow this team self-organize because I have absolutely no idea what is Swampay project and Oostown again. I'm just going to say A and D because I have no idea. That B and C look like gibberish to me.
A and D.
Okay, you
A
see,
and D.
if you have gone through the Shoppe Lifestyle Center case study, you would know Oasis Town is the place where that hybrid project is going on. Shoppe project is the name of the project, Shoppe Lifestyle Center, and the project manager name is Ang Fen. It is referring to that, but classically speaking, this is specifically talking about the virtual team. That means in that hybrid project, the agile portion is in question. And for agile question, two ways that can they do this is by holding the stand-up meeting and allowing the team to self-organize, because these are two specific to agile. What can the team ensure that their processes are optimal and they can deliver the final prototype on time? Now, Greer is a sponsor. If you have gone through the case study, you would know Greer is the sponsor. So what it is saying is, time box of iterations, conduct retrospectives, assign Greer as a Scrum Master, put the schedule on a shared calendar.
How can the team ensure that their processes are optimal?
Optimal, yes.
It's not creating time box iteration.
Okay, that time box of iteration is just iteration. It doesn't ensure anything. Okay, by assigning Greer as a Scrum Master, how does that help? It doesn't help.
Who's Greer?
Greer is a person who you want to change the Scrum Master. You want to put Greer in charge. That is not the right answer. Put the schedule. Yeah.
I think it's
put
B.
the schedule on a shared calendar. I don't know.
I think it's B because it's talking about processes optimal, and retrospective is about processes and
exactly
how
continuous
the team
improvement.
works.
When we talked about continuous improvement, I said retrospective is the best way of doing continuous improvement, and retrospective happens in agile, and this is the agile question, right? So conduct
Option B
retrospective will help you optimize your processes. The subject matter experts want to pilot a camera drone to send real-time close-up of a building to the rest of the team to troubleshoot. Only 1 month remains in the timeline. How should the team respond first? What type of project is this?
Is it not? Is this still hybrid? Who's Helen? Is it still the shopping?
Yeah, because in hybrid project, yes, it could be predictive, but this portion where the timeline is defined, only 1 month remains in the timeline. This indicates the predictive nature of that. Right, now try to answer it.
Let's see.
I will say, I don't know, I'll say D. Just so.
You said D?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
C.
you may be right, but the problem is, isn't there a procedure for dealing with such a kind of situation?
No, the reason I say D is because the question is, how does a team respond first?
I agree
The
with
first
I
question
agree
I'll
with
ask
you.
is,
I
the
agree with
first
that.
question I'll ask is, why do you need to do this? Because and then if they say this is the reason, then I'll figure out what resources, budget, time are needed. So it's a tricky question, but that's why I went for D.
Actually, you are
But
acting
timeline is
as a
already
free
defined.
form project manager, and you are giving the answer to this question from directly without the knowledge of the project management. In project management, if you are dealing with a predictive project, and if someone, any stakeholder, suggests a change, that must go through a change request. Remember that? This is a change. This was not in the plan. Subject matter experts who are our stakeholder, they want to do this, so they are looking at the options whether it can be done or not, right? Can it be included in the project or not, right? So this is a change they are suggesting. So what should I do with that change? Uh, Rather than asking them why do they need it, I would start figuring out the resources, budget, timelines, and all as if it can be presented to the bosses, whether it makes the case or not. They will decide whether this change is approved or not. Anyone has the right to move a change request. You can't deny them this right. Any stakeholder can move a change request. So in this case, subject matter experts came up with this idea and they are moving this change request. No matter if the project is about to end, uh, the management will decide that we don't have time, we don't approve this change. But you have to forward it. So the correct answer is figure out what resources, budget, and time are needed. No, you have to see what is the impact of this change on the baselines, scope, time, and cost, right? Okay. Next topic is evaluate the project progress. Now, this is a little detailed because here we are going to talk about how to conduct the change control. Conduct the change control. Sorry, not the change control. Conduct the monitoring and control of the whole project, right? So we have to understand a couple of things here. But before that, I will like to refer you to lesson number 1, where we actually talked about uh, all the boxes of predictive project management, 49 processes. And I told you that there are these 5 process groups. And now we are talking about the monitoring and control process group.
Sorry, you want to refer back to lesson 1.
Lesson 1, yeah.
That's
There I
like
explained it all. I actually explained it all. There were 12 processes in monitoring and control, right? And for every knowledge area, there was either a monitor or a control there. There was either
Suhail,
monitor or a control there. Yes, please.
before we proceed, can we take a small break, please?
Yes, of course. Why not? We can have a break for another 7 minutes now.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Okay, welcome back. Tahir and Nurul, are you there? Right. So let us talk about measuring the performance. In a predictive project, as you understand, all the knowledge areas will have to be looked at for performance purposes. But you see, what is more important to us, naturally the baseline, scope, time, and cost. And also, naturally, I need to take the performance on, check the performance on everything. But after scope, time, and cost, what things are more important to me are the resources, quality, and risk. It doesn't mean that I am not going to look at the communication, stakeholder, and other things. Everything has a control in monitoring and control. Whether you call it a monitor or you call it a control, but every knowledge area does have one. For example, for scope, they have got scope control. And there is yet another thing. In scope, there are two kinds of things. One is scope control, and other is called scope validation. For schedule, there is a schedule control. For cost, there is a cost control. For resources, there is a monitor resources, because as far as resources are concerned, there are humans involved in it. So you have to monitor them, not just control them. But the resource part can be controlled. But anyways, we call it monitor resources. Stakeholders, we monitor the stakeholders. Risk, we monitor the risk. Quality, we control the quality. And then we have got procurements, we control the procurements, and so on. So you see, there are 10 knowledge areas, and every area has got at least one control. How many are there? 10 controls. And then we have got two things in scope, that is scope control and the scope validation. So these are two controls, and then integration is at the center of it, in the heart of it. Integration has got two processes. Integration is also one of the knowledge areas, 10th one. So total of 12 areas, 12 processes are there, right? Okay, let me also define here, which I have already explained to you earlier. When we are in monitoring and control and the execution has done their work, or they are doing their work, they are doing two things. They are working, and actually the work results are coming to us. And the second thing is that deliverable is coming to us, whether it is the end product or the part of the product, but some product is coming to us for checking purposes. Let us first talk about the deliverable. Deliverable, out of these 12 processes, only 2 processes deal with the deliverable. Rest, all the processes are dealing with the work, right? And those 2 processes are, when a deliverable is received in monitoring and control, quality control is the first check on any product. Quality control is the first check on any product, because quality assurance might have already been done. Now is the time when quality control, each product is to be physically checked for quality, and that is called verify quality. And when I say verify quality, it is about the tolerances, allowable tolerances. If the product specifications are within the allowable threshold of tolerance, then it will be verified. Once it is verified for quality, that deliverable moves on to scope for scope validation. Scope validation. Scope validation is kind of a user acceptance and what do you call it, definition of done. Although definition of done is not a term used in predictive projects, it is mostly used in agile projects. But because you have the concept of definition of done, it is about compliance. So I am referring to that. Otherwise, in predictive projects, saying the user acceptance for the whole product, that includes the definition of done and everything. Everything is included in it. So when scope validates that all the specifications are correct and complete, then product is accepted, considered user acceptance has been completed, and ultimately now it can be handed over to the customer. This was the whole story in monitoring and control about the product. As far as the work is concerned, now listen to me very carefully, because that I had explained earlier as well. When we do the work in execution, whatever is generated, whatever data is generated as a result of doing the work during execution is called work performance data. Are you with me on that? Work performance data. Will you remember that? Okay. So, what is the difference between data and information? Anyone can help me on that?
So data is unprocessed
Right.
and raw. Information is like
It's a
processed form
raw
of data.
information that, okay, for example,
Yes.
this activity is completed on 12th of May. That is a data. Now, we don't know whether it should have been completed on 12th May or not. Is it late or it is early? So this analysis is to be done by the controls we have here. The schedule control will see in the schedule when this activity was supposed to complete. And it finds that it was supposed to complete on 10th of May. So this activity is delayed by 2 days. This, as a result of the analysis, work performance information is generated that this activity is 2 days delayed. Now it becomes work performance information. Similarly, the same data, when reaches the cost control looks at it from the cost perspective, scope looks at it from the scope perspective, quality looks at it from the quality perspective. All the knowledge areas look at it from their own perspective, and they convert that data into information. So the same data has been converted into several informations coming from several knowledge areas, and they are all these informations are to be sent to the integration as if they can be compiled together as a work performance report. So again, work performance data was generated from execution, received by monitoring and control. In monitoring and control, all the monitors and controls, they receive a copy of that data, they process them, they analyze that data and convert it into information. All these informations are submitted to integration. As I said, integration has two processes here. One process is called monitor and control project work. This is the process which receives all the work performance information and converts it into work performance data. So far, so good. What is the other integration process? That is called.
It is a lot of information. I feel like to hear you could create a process flow for
Yeah,
what.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Thank God. Yes, please.
There is another thing which is called the other integration process here is called integrated change control. Integrated change control. Now, this process is specially meant for receiving all the change requests which are being generated. So this is the single one place where all the change requests will come and they will be processed here. I will also show you a diagram. Rather, if you remember, I have shown you that diagram earlier in the first lesson, how change request is processed, right? So, but anyways, I'll see if that diagram is available here. I can show you that. But that is other thing happening. So what has happened in one, I have talked about work performance data being converted into work performance information. That work performance information has been consolidated as a work performance report. That is one journey of the work. Other journey is of the change request. Anyone can do a change request. The team members can do it. Any controls can do it, or any stakeholder can do it. They can ask for a change request. Change requests will all be received in integrated change control and presented to the project board, which will decide the fate of that change request. And if it is approved, it will be the plan will be amended, the baselines will be amended, updated, and we will start working according to that. You tell me what happens if a change request is not approved. For example, an activity was delayed by 2 days and it was a critical activity. And if we don't fix it, we are going to be delayed by 2 days. Whole project is going to be delayed by 2 days. Right? I suggested, my change request was, give me 2 extra days. They said, no, we can't give you 2 extra days. What should I do?
That's a risk.
Risk, but comes with a price. We need to more focus on more resources, I guess.
No. Why did you not suggest that earlier? Why did you ask for 2 more days? That means you did not put up the change request with all the possible options. Because the only option you gave to the change request people, to the project board, was, please give me 2 extra days. They said, no, we can't give you that. So your change request was rejected. But your problem is yet not resolved. So when you are creating your change request, you must take into account that you should give more than one options. Like, if I increase the resources by this much, I can do it in the same time. Or if I can be provided with extra money, I can employ more resources and do it faster, like crashing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you could give more than one options. And if they don't like your suggested option, they can pick the other one. Right? So that is not a solution. If somebody rejects your change request, that is, your problem is not ever solved. So you have to kind of come up with another change request as a result of that. Anyways, here we have got only 6 areas defined, but you see, all the 10 knowledge areas can move a change request and all can be mentioned. But they are more important. Actually, in scope, we need to see the percentage of work completed and any change requests out of that. In schedule, any delays in start or finish of an activity. In budget, we look at how much money had to be spent and how much money has been spent actually on ground, and how can you fix it. It can also result in a change request. Resources, team allocations and availability. What you planned, it is not exactly how it became available, and ultimately it is affecting our schedule, our cost, our time. Everything is affected by the resources. Quality, technical performance issues are there, defects are there. So you see, all of these things are causes for the change request. But anyways, because now I have talked about it, you do understand what we are referring to. So here, a report on performance, it could be tailored if required, milestone schedule, high-level visualization of progress on work against planned dates. That is how the things are happening actually on ground, right? You have to portray it on the Gantt chart in case of a predictive project. Quality reports, charts, reports based on the quality matrix collected, earned value management, if you remember, we have talked about it. So all the calculations of earned value, you must have, you can consult that again and see what all are the calculations of earned value and how is it calculated. Variance analysis is also part of earned value because we have the schedule variance and the cost variance formulas calculated out of the earned value management. Work performance report, as I told you, it is the consolidation of all the reports put together. That is the overall project work performance report. It is created by monitor and control project work, which is the integration process. And this consolidation is coming from all the work performance information submitted by various monitors and controls. And then we can have dashboards to be presented to various stakeholders according to their need. Whatever anyone is interested in seeing, he would be presented only that graph or that graphic, right? We may not be, everyone is not interested in the Gantt chart. Some sponsors or some key stakeholders, they are only interested in milestone chart. So just show them the milestone chart and which milestones have been achieved. The people who are actually working on the activities, they are interested in their portion of work and in the detailed activity progress. So show them that dashboard. So it could be different dashboard for different people. If you have an automated system, then when anyone logins to the system, according to their login details, that will customize their dashboard accordingly. And they will see only what they require to see. So that are the dashboards. Then we move on to each one of them. First of all, scope. We have a scope baseline. Scope baseline is the approved version of the project scope statement. Everything started with a project scope statement, right? After the requirements have been stabilized, we establish the product scope and then we establish the project scope. And based on that, we develop further things like the work breakdown structure and dictionary. All of this is called the scope baseline. You remember that in a predictive project.
Yeah.
Then in an agile project, how does it work? Scope is evolving over time because the product backlog is growing over time. It is increasing. New requirements are being added all the time. So initial roadmap is created, and then we divide it into release backlogs and iteration backlog, while the main backlog is still going through, changes. So when we are done with one iteration, we go back and revisit the backlog. New requirements are reprioritized, and then we pick up another couple of user stories and move on to the next iteration. So this is how the things are done. Then we have a different concept about the acceptance criteria and the definition of done, because in a predictive project, we just have a user acceptance of the whole product, right? This is not separate user acceptances. But in Agile, we have every user story has a user acceptance criteria established. So we, at the end of an iteration, we pass those user stories, but definition of done is not done until we are about to deliver that thing to the customer. Before the delivery, all the user stories which have already been user accepted, now they go through the definition of done, and only then it can be handed over to the customer. You remember all that, huh? So that was as far as the scope is concerned. Scope validation, remember, again, in predictive, we just have one acceptance criteria for the whole thing. In Agile, we have got a definition of ready, we have got a definition of done, we have got an acceptance criteria, and then we have got iteration reviews. At the iteration reviews, we look at the acceptance criteria of all the stories completed, and we get a review with the customer and they accept it, right? When we start the work, that is the definition of ready. And when we deliver it to the customer, that point is called definition of done. And naturally, hybrid is a combination of that. These are two small questions about predictive and adaptive. In a predictive development approach, which artifact helps determine the acceptance criteria? What do you think?
In a predictive development approach, which artifact helps determine acceptance criteria? Scope statement.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
In an adaptive development approach, what helps determine the acceptance criteria for user stories has been met?
Definition of done.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nirja, you following?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. Okay, moving on to the schedule. In schedule, in predictive, we have a Gantt chart. In agile, we don't have a Gantt chart, right? In agile, we have a task board. So things are different. But in agile, things are much, much, much more simpler. But anyways, when in a predictive system, we have a Gantt chart and we actually put the progress, whatever is actually happening on ground must be shown on the Gantt chart. I have emphasized that Gantt chart is a living document. It is not just for the planning purposes, but when we are actually doing the project, whatever we are doing, progress of each activity must be consistently drawn onto the Gantt chart, which will tell us what we were supposed to have done by now and how much have we done till now. You can compare it, right? Without even having any earned value. But anyways, earned value is the tool how we measure it. We have got three things there. We have got a planned value, we have got an earned value, and we have got an actual cost. And by comparing these things, we can find out how much far behind are we in schedule or how much overspending we are on the cost, right? So earned value is a cost and effort performance tracking against planned value. Quality metrics track quality deliverables, defects, and acceptance output. And naturally, we have got schedule and cost variance we have already discussed. But any variance in any knowledge area could be called a variance analysis. Like, what is the variance in quality which is being produced? How much bad quality are we doing, right? Out of range quality, what is the rate of that? Is it bad enough or it is good enough? Compare work delivered and accepted to estimates for the current iterations and sprint. Meaning, in agile, we are just concerned about one iteration, what we are doing. We are not comparing anything else. And in an iteration, we have a limited number of user stories. Therefore, it is not a really uphill task. We don't really need to create a Gantt chart. We just can do all this with a task board or a Kanban board, and things are apparently very clear. It is just like things are moving on the chart from to-do list to the work in progress and to the done column. So very easily we can trace and track all the activities. There are a couple of tasks there. Review completed work in regular sprint demos. So when we are done with our iteration, we demonstrate in the review meeting to the customer, and all the feedback about the product is actually received there, right? Retrospective does not accommodate product feedback. That accommodates the team feedback on what we did right and what we did wrong. Retrospective is all about that. And that results in continuous improvement. Determine production validation and acceptance rates for the deliverables in retrospective, and conduct scheduled reviews to record retrospective discoveries. Retrospective actually serves as a food for thought, and we understand what we have done right or done wrong. We learn lessons out of it, and thus we can continuously improve. As far as the schedule management tools are concerned, we have got visualization tools. In Agile, we have got the information radiators. I suppose we have seen a video on information radiators. Have we or have we not?
I
Let
think
me, yeah, here it is. It is going to be on the next slide. I'll just show you what the information radiators are, but just to tell you, these are different charts and graphs which you can visually display on the wall rather than sending them out to the stakeholders in reports. We don't send out reports in Agile, but we can put these charts at a central place where we are working, and anyone can come and visit us anytime, right? Although we have a facility that all these information radiators can be made available online, right? So this is much easier to handle. In agile environment, it is much easier to handle. We don't have a lot of artifacts. We just have the information radiator, which could be available online or on site. Anybody can see that. So these various charts and graphs, they are actually called information radiators. Why? Because they radiate information. They radiate information. Measure the performance with lead and cycle time, which I will discuss a little while later. What is the lead time and what is the cycle time when we discuss the cumulative flow diagram. And then we have agile approaches may use Kanban or task board. You see, there are two separate things. Task board is purely agile. Kanban is lean and agile, built into one. So we could use either one of them to visualize the project progress or work. Continuous flow approaches include like, cumulative flow diagram, which I said I will discuss a little later, but that actually calculates the throughput of the of our iteration, the cycle time, the lead time, and all that. And velocity, you already know how much work a team can handle in an iteration determines the velocity of the team, right? So we do understand all these terms. Burn up and burn down chart. Do you remember, Niraja? What is a burn up chart and what is a burn down chart? Okay, let me not ask it. Let me show you the video and then you will be able to answer that.
90% of all the information transmitted to the brain is visual. Not surprisingly, visuals are processed 60,000 times faster than text. We are wired to automatically interpret patterns for instant comprehension with almost zero effort. Want to see some examples? What do you see right away? A different shape. And with this one, a different size. And with this one, a different color. That brings us to an information radiator. An information radiator is a type of visual control that displays project information in a place where passersby can see it and get information without having to ask questions. The far left column of this example starts with the project charter. This lists the project's primary objectives, key features, and cautions and risks. It also lists those who have key roles in the project's completion: the product owner, the architecture owners, and the team lead. Finally, it provides a glossary of project terms which may not be widely known. The next column of this example indicates any impediments and blockers that are slowing or preventing progress on the project. This includes both known and outstanding blockers, and those that have been mitigated or completed. The bottom of this column provides a convenient place for the color coding to reside. In this case, green for done, blue for started, red for blockers, and yellow for dependencies. The large center section of this example shows the product backlog. It also shows the iteration backlog, the specific tasks being worked on by members of the team in the current iteration. The far right section of this example shows the iteration burn down, the rate at which the team is burning through its customer stories. This can tell the team whether they are on track, ahead, or behind the committed work. It also shows the release burn up. This monitors progress of release commitment iteration by iteration and gives the team a projection of when they will meet their release goal. And finally, it shows working agreements. These agreements detail how the team will work together and what they can expect of each other. Of course, this is just an example. Your information radiator should be customized to meet the needs of your team.
Okay, now you understand what is our information radiator. This could be a lot many things, and a lot many things we have shown here. Just a moment. Right. What is a burn down chart? Burn down chart is a chart used during an iteration, right? Burn up chart is a chart used to see the progress iteration by iteration. Burn down chart is just like a candle burns from the full candle and it burns down to zero. So when we start an iteration, we decide how much work we are going to be doing in this iteration. For example, these are 190 user stories you are expected to handle during this one iteration. So that is like a full candle, one night of the size of 190 user stories. Draw a straight line from 190 till the last day of the project. This straight line will define how your progress should go, right? This shows your burn down rate. By that time, by the end of first day, you should be here. By the end of first day, you should be here. Means this is the remaining work. On the day one, the remaining work is the total work 190 user stories. On the second day, it should be 180 user stories. On the third day, it should be like 165. On fourth day, it should be something like 158 and so on. This is the expected burn down rate. But actually, what happens on ground is shown by the red line. You may not be burning down as we supposed. For example, by the end of first day, we were supposed to have burned down 10 user stories, but we did 20. So we did well. If your dot occurs under the baseline line, then you are performing better. But if your dot appears above it, then you are performing bad. So saying that this whole red line is under the purple line, that means very clearly that our project is in control. But you can see the behavior. We were very fast here. We were burning fast here, but here we slowed down a bit. Still we were in control, but we slowed down. So let me show you by drawing a line to show you how will this look like. For example, if I project this line, it goes something like this. That means if I keep working on this pace, right, I probably will not be able to complete all the work. But let me extend a line from here. That means if I follow this path from this point onwards, I may end the whole of the work by 11th of June, right? And if I extend it from here, it says I can do it on 12th of June. If I extend it from here, it says I can end it by 18th of June. So I can predict at any point in time when my iteration backlog will be complete. Okay, for example, your iteration backlog is completed at this point. I am sorry. For example, what if you are able to complete this all of your backlog, iteration backlog on 11th of June? What will happen? You are free 9 days earlier. So what do you do in the rest of the time?
We'll pick more.
We'll pick more work. But what he has done is, which I don't like, he has slowed down. He has slowed down and was ultimately able to complete those work which he has carried out earlier. It is not bad, but this is a little bit inefficient. If you could work faster, then why did you not keep up the pace? This could be
What's
my
the
argument.
what's the unit on the left-hand side? Is that
That is the user story points.
user? Okay,
Story points.
Story points. Yeah.
Yeah. These are the story points, and these are the dates. Right? You can analyze this. So rather than having in a predictive project calculating lot many things and drawing drawing the bars on the Gantt chart, we don't need to do anything. We just need to follow this chart, and that will give us the complete progress of our iteration. So far, so good.
This is for one iteration, right?
Only one iteration.
So
we
then
burn down like a candle from top to
but
end.
if it finishes on the June 11th, for example, and you pick up new user stories, isn't that like a new?
Actually, then this line from this point onwards, we will have from say we pick up on 11th of June. Let me draw it for you. From this point onwards, let me use a different color as if you can. From this point onwards, I will connect this line. So my new baseline will be from here to here.
No, let's say on the June 11th, it's finished.
Say on June 11th. Okay, let me delete it.
It's 0.
On June 11, we are 0. So from this point onwards, I completed it here. So, okay, on whatever the user stories we picked, say we picked another 180 stories. So there will be another line coming from here to here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Clear.
Right. Okay. Moving on. This is the burn up chart. Now, this is interesting because it has two lines. The blue line shows you the total product backlog. This is just an approximation. It is not exactly. Say this is these are story points. It says in iteration 1 we did 100 user stories. We were supposed to do 100 user stories. In iteration 2 another 100. In iteration 3 100, and so on. This shows that line. But the red line shows how much have we actually done cumulatively. Right? I am sorry, this is not the target for each iteration. This is the backlog. This is the backlog. For the first 5 iterations, our backlog remains the same, right? And we have done this much. So we have reached here. And if we keep performing, if it remains on this line, then we probably will be done somewhere here, right? But what happens is, new backlog items have been added and the backlog has gone up. That's why we are unable to complete this release in 8 iterations and there is still some work is left. That means we may decide to add 1 or 2 iterations to this release as if we can complete the target of this iteration. This is not actually the backlog, the product backlog, rather it is a iteration backlog with 8 iterations here.
It's the
so iteration backlog, if it changes, if it increases, our iteration number of iterations may have to be revised. And iteration by iteration, we will complete our project ultimately.
So on the left side, these are user stories? Like
again, you
in
can consider it
1.
as a user story or a story point, whatever is the scale you mentioned.
Okay. So at iteration 6, number of user stories are increased to
You
120.
have done this much, then you have reached this level. This is a cumulative score going upwards. Right?
Okay.
And ultimately you are getting nearer to your product backlog or iteration what do you call it, release backlog.
Because we are picking more from
More requirements. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So this is the graph which moves upwards. That's why it is called burn up chart. This is a release burn up. It is written here. So burn down and burn up, and then we have got the task board, which we have already talked a lot about. So these are the items which are still not started. These are the works we are actually working on right now, and these are the jobs or tasks which are done. When all the work reaches here in the done column, we will be done with the whole iteration. Right? So task board is easy. Okay. How to estimate the velocity? For example, in the first iteration, you achieved this velocity. Your speed was this much. In second iteration, it was this much. Initially, it is difficult to determine the velocity. When you have got 4 to 6 values, after 4 to 6 iterations, you can take an average of that and draw a straight line which will represent the velocity of your team. Right? Now you understand? Actually, whatever you achieve in one iteration is the speed. Right? But when you look at it from a long-term perspective, that you are consistently being able to meet an average speed of this much, that would be called as a velocity. Right? So this is a chart of velocity which you create, and you keep drawing the histogram, and you have this line, and this line can be amended also. If say after 20 iterations, you take another average, your line may come down or may go up. Your
So
velocity
it's
can also.
basically the average.
Yeah, this is the average. Yes, average speed. Now, this was the chart I was referring to, continuous flow approach. Now, this is interesting. This is a cumulative graph of the increasing levels of the product backlog and the work being done and the work being complete, work being started and work being done. The brown line, the top of the brown line, this shows initially the product backlog was only this much. New requirements were added. This became this much. Then new requirements were added, new requirement. So it keeps growing, and growing. So backlog is growing. Okay. When the project started, you took up certain tasks and started doing them. So these are the tasks, these many tasks we have started doing, and for this much time we were working on those jobs. And nothing got done so far. And this continues on. The first job gets done at this point. This line, blue line, is the this job we picked up here gets done at this point. Similarly, I can say, okay, the distance from the start of the work and the end of the work is called the cycle time for that work. Cycle time is the distance between start and end of any work. And lead time is when the requirement of something was generated in the product backlog. From that point onwards until the end of that product, when that thing was created, then that thing was done, that is called the lead time. Cycle time is from start till end of that activity. Lead time is from perception to the end of the activity. It includes the wait time. This much time is the wait time. Nothing is being done on that job. But actually we started doing this activity at this point. And from this point till this is the cycle time, but the whole length is the lead time. Now, interestingly, if I just look at the lead time, you will see that, okay, what is the lead time at this point? This much. What is the lead time at this time? This much. But because only this much job is done so far, so I can maximum talk about this because the remaining work is yet to be done. Right? Okay. And what about the cycle time? Cycle time for this is from here to here. Cycle time for this is from here to here. And cycle time for this is from here to here.
It's basically length of one iteration.
Not really.
One
Not really.
task.
It has nothing to do with the iteration.
Okay.
It could happen, cumulative flow diagram can happen during an iteration. It could happen during a release, or it could be a complete chart of the whole project. Rather, I would say it is a chart of the whole project. Now, these are the horizontal lines I just talked about. The distance from here to here is the remaining backlog. The distance from here to here is the total backlog. It is the remaining work. This is the work which is currently in progress. This is the work which has been completed at this point. So this is done. This is work in progress, and this is the remaining backlog. And this is the total backlog. So the total backlog at this point is this much. The remaining is only this much. The work in hand at this moment is this much, and the work which is done is only this much. So here we show backlog, work in progress, and done on the vertical scale, and we show lead time and cycle time on the horizontal scale. This whole thing is called a cumulative flow diagram. Just wanted to give you an idea. You will have to practice it only when you actually are doing an agile project.
I've done this once.
You've done this one. Very good. Very good.
For an agile project in terms of reporting, in terms of how much have we done, how much left we have.
Exactly.
And
so rather than having a Gantt chart, this could show us very good progress. And we have got formulas to calculate these lead time and cycle time and all that. Although it is not discussed here, but we do have
didn't know
formulas.
that. I didn't know that before. So I started with the burn up and then burn down. And then, everyone was like, what about cumulative? It was like, but actually what we made was actually this graph. It was very helpful in terms of reporting.
Right. Anyways, so this was the continuous flow approach. I suppose we are up with the time. We are almost halfway through with this chapter. It will be a hard ball, but we'll in the next class we will try to cover this chapter, and the last one is only 35 slides, right? So maybe I may request you in the next class we continue until we finish. I'll try to do it in 3 hours, but if at all we are not done, we can continue. Or the other option could be, because I am going to be busy from next week, I am having another class in this time. So weekdays are not available for me. If at all something is left, I can do that with you on Saturday. Next week, Saturday.
Please remind me, Suhail, how many lessons are left now?
Actually, as I said, I am trying to do it on this Saturday. I'll complete it. But if at all, if there is anything left, then we will do it on the next Saturday only, not Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
So this is lesson number 5, right? The last lesson.
The 6 is the last lesson, but 6 is just a conclusion. That's about 30-35 slides only.
Okay.
So
we are almost at the fag end. But if you want to be comfortable, we can do 2 more classes, one on this Saturday and one on the next Saturday. I will do my level best to complete it on the coming Saturday.
Okay, sounds
So
good.
today is Thursday, and there is no
Yeah. Oh,
lesson
yes, yes,
tomorrow.
yes. We are
And
meeting
we are
on
trying to
Saturday.
complete everything on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll try our level best. Yeah. Any questions?
That'll be tough, Suhail. I'm not sure we can do it, but we'll try. We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll try.
No questions. We just
No
listen.
question. No, you do ask question. No problem. Okay.
Okay.
So
All good, sir.
see you on Saturday then.
See you on
See you, sir.
Saturday.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.